Among the many geographical discoveries, there are some that we cannot identify with 100% certainty. For example, we will never know who was the first to discover the world ocean, was the first person to cross to America or set foot on the shores of Australia. The discoveries of the ancients are unknown to us. After all, people who lived thousands of years ago were not driven by a thirst for scientific discoveries or an interest in understanding the world, they moved in search of more suitable places for life. With the advent of writing, the situation changed. It became possible to record certain events. The truth has reached us, only a small part of the information about how people discovered the world in ancient times. This information is fragmentary and does not give a complete picture of what is happening. In different sources, the same events are described differently. This gives rise to many questions that cannot always be answered unambiguously. As an example, we can cite the mysterious country of Ophir. A biblical, unknown today, mysterious country where precious metals were mined by King Solomon in ancient times: gold, silver, precious stones, expensive materials and exotic animals. The Bible did not tell us where exactly this country was. With the passage of millennia, when there were no more mute witnesses, our generation could not find the entire country. Several mentions of this country are contained in the Bible in the 3rd book of Kings, and King Solomon also made a ship in Ezion-Geber, which is near Elath on the shore of the Red Sea, in the land of Edom. And Hiram sent his sailors in the ship, with Solomon's subjects, and they went to Ophir, and took from their gold 420 talents and brought it to King Solomon. In terms of modern weights, the amount of gold from Ophir brought to King Solomon is about 420 centners. Agree, this is not a little. We read further, and the ship of Hiram, which brought gold from Ophir, brought a great abundance of algum wood and precious stones. And all Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold, for the king had a ship of Tarshish with the ship of Hiram at sea. Once in 3 years they brought gold and silver, ivory, apes and peacocks. So where could this incredibly rich country be located? There are two main points of view on this matter. According to the first, the country of Ophir could be located somewhere in the east, for example in India. This version is supported by the fact that the texts repeatedly mention a ship of Tarshish, that is, Persian. Trade relations between Persia and India have existed since ancient times. This is evidenced, in particular, by the data of archaeological excavations carried out on the site of one of the most ancient cities of India, in Harappa. Things of clearly Persian origin were discovered there. And what Persian? Archaeologists found faience beads there, brought from the island of Crete around 1500 to 1600 BC. This speaks of strong trade ties between different parts of Europe and Asia already in ancient times. So it is at least stupid to deny trade ties between Persia and India. Moreover, India has ivory, monkeys, and peacocks. From there, all this good could have come by sea from the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea to King Solomon. However, there is one doubt here. The Bible quotes say that ships came once every 3 years. Therefore, the way to the country of Ophir was difficult and long. At the same time, the routes to India were quite well known. Does this mean that the country of Ophir should be looked for elsewhere? Supporters of the second version believe that the country of Ophir should be looked for in southeastern Africa, beyond the equator, somewhere in the area of modern Mozambique. It was there that local tribes could deliver gold and precious stones from the depths of the continent. In particular, gold has been mined since ancient times by tribes living in the territory of modern Zimbabwe. Gold is difficult to mine and is always present in small quantities. It also takes time to deliver it to the coast. Perhaps this explains the frequency of its delivery to King Solomon once every 3 years. Local residents knew when the ship was coming and prepared for this event in advance. So, which point of view should be preferred? To answer this question, let's try to approach it from a slightly different angle. And first, let's answer another question: how could Solomon have learned about the country of Ophir? And in which country at that time or several centuries earlier was there a lot of gold? In Egypt. One historical fact speaks in favor of this version. Pharaoh Ramses II, who ruled in the 13th century BC, laid a canal from one of the branches of the Nile to the Red Sea. At that time, this was a grandiose event, which, apparently, had great economic justification. This means that Egypt was interested in trading with East Africa, or perhaps with India. Although the Egyptians have no direct references to this country, they definitely reached the shores of Africa and were probably the first sailors to cross the equator and find themselves in the southern hemisphere of the earth. But from the Egyptians, information about the country of Ophir reached King Solomon. Moreover, the connections between Egypt and the ancient Hebrew kingdom were very close. Of course, the facts presented are hypothetical, since no precise archaeological or documentary facts, other than the Bible, confirming the existence of the country of Ophir have yet been discovered. And this question remains open to this day.